괜찮아? 여긴 위험해. 어서 내 손을 잡아.
Is there any need to invent something new when there are so many excellent projects that can be copied with dignity? Shift Up Studio didn't reinvent the wheel and borrowed ideas from franchises such as Bayonetta, Nier Automata, Dead Space, Dark Souls, Matrix, and even the classic God of War series, spicing it all up with a plot that may not be original but is interesting, and adding their own flavor in the form of a sexy main character. The Korean team pleasantly surprised us by releasing a good product. The events of Stellar Blade unfold in the distant future. Earth lies in ruins, and humanity is on the brink of extinction due to mysterious creatures known as Biots. Players take on the role of Eva, a member of the 7th Assault Squad sent by an orbital colony of survivors to destroy the enemy and save humanity. From the very beginning, certain questions arise about the plot. If the 7th operation was prepared for a long time and thoroughly, why was the entire fleet destroyed in a matter of seconds before the landing party even touched down on the planet? Why do some of the survivors look more like walking toasters? Many such questions accumulate throughout the narrative, but this does not prevent you from watching what is happening with curiosity, thanks to the fact that Stellar Blade repeatedly throws out information for reflection. As the sole survivor, Eve must establish contact with the surviving humans and uncover the secrets of the events that led to the destruction of Earth. Despite the abundance of vivid and colorful cutscenes, most of the lore is presented through notes and diaries left on the bodies of the deceased, so you'll have to read a lot and often. Unfortunately, most of the text doesn't carry much meaning and tends to be repetitive. These are my last moments. I can't be saved. As for the main plot, as you progress, unexpected details are revealed that turn the current picture of the world upside down. The combat system and staging of battles in Stellar Blade are unlikely to leave fans of dynamic action games indifferent. To describe it in 2 words, bloody splendor, an excellent combination of visual effects, beautiful voice acting, incredible acrobatic feats by the main character, and responsive controls make the fights simply stunning. You have to constantly change your combat tactics and skillfully juggle Eva's abilities, thanks to which, even after spending dozens of hours in the game, fighting all kinds of enemies that are constantly evolving, it never gets boring. The rich bestiary greatly contributes to the variety of battles. Unlike classic Souls-like games, in Stellar Blade you almost always have to face several enemies at once, whose composition changes as the plot develops. Encounters with bosses are a special kind of pleasure. The developers have not only worked out the appearance of the enemies in detail, but also thought through the animation of their movements, set of attacks, parry windows, and other aspects that make each battle with a new enemy truly unforgettable. It is important to note that it is advisable to play on the normal difficulty level, otherwise most biotics can be defeated with a single attack without bothering with the mechanics of the combat system. And there is a lot to bother with in Stellar Blade. Several unrelated skill trees complement each other perfectly, and by learning them, Eva eventually turns into a real machine for chopping up everything and everyone. If an enemy proves too tough, you can level up a couple of new skills or switch to story difficulty and beat your enemies to a pulp. On the easy difficulty setting, hints will pop up on the screen during combat, telling you which buttons to press, which greatly simplifies the battle even against the most formidable opponents. In the final stage of each boss battle, you'll have to perform simple QTEs, an unambiguous nod to the heyday of God of War. For those who don't like QTEs, you can set autopress in the settings. Stellar Blade is mostly linear, and you'll mainly be traveling from point A to point B, which are camps similar in function to the bonfires in Dark Souls. However, the developers decided to experiment, and not every point can boast an all-inclusive system. Some of the bonfires are designed as benches, where you can sit down to restore your health and replenish your Estus flasks. Most camps offer the opportunity to level up your skills and visit the local shop. Only a small number of rest points are designed as full-fledged camps, where, among other things, quick teleportation is available, as well as the opportunity to level up your weapons and a few consumable slots. The large checkpoints look like a jumble of all kinds of terminals, and unlike the standard bonfires in Souls, you have to run between terminals to perform certain actions, which is not very convenient. Apparently, The developers wanted to emphasize the limited functionality of some camps in this way. If you stick strictly to the plot, you will miss out on most of the content, so it's best not to ignore the side quests, even if they lack originality and variety. Most of the tasks boil down to go there and see if the people survived, or searching for certain very important items. Only a few minor storylines consist of quest chains that are short but interesting and sometimes even touching stories. The quest system is designed to be as convenient as possible for the gamer. For example, as you complete a side quest, the system immediately suggests that you go to the client, which saves a lot of time. An excellent solution for both semi-open and open-world games. The semi-open world in Stellar Blade is divided into several large locations, each of which stands out for its individuality. Eve will have to travel through vast spaces such as post-apocalyptic deserts, explore abandoned laboratories, and even descend into the ancient sewers of a long-extinct world. To explore the wastelands, the main character will have neither flying machines nor mounts at her disposal, and will have to rely solely on her two perfectly constructed legs. During long runs, additional acceleration is automatically activated, so even long distances will not be a particular obstacle for Eve. Movement around the map is done in the best traditions of the Matrix, with the help of old-fashioned telephone booths. All you have to do is put your ear to the receiver of the ancient device and you're already on the other side of the map. The name of the main city of the planet's surviving inhabitants is also borrowed from the Wachowski brothers trilogy, with the developers only changing the first letter. Perhaps the weakest aspects of Stellar Blade are the platforming, which turned out to be boring and formulaic, and the movement mechanics, which raise a number of serious questions. It is often difficult to estimate the distance before jumping, and our heroine often fails to reach the desired area. Also, Eva is sometimes very reluctant to grab onto a rope, ledge, or other object in a chain of obstacles, which means you have to start all over again. Visually, the screenshots and videos speak for themselves, and it's hardly worth describing in words that Stellar Blade is a real feast for the eyes. The minimalistic, neat interface fits very harmoniously into the game and does not interfere with immersion in the atmosphere. The soundtrack is gorgeous, piano notes and pleasant female vocals mixed with techno, but the music gets old pretty quickly and you want more variety. I would like to separately mention the main character's wardrobe, which continues to be the subject of controversy, enthusiasm, and disappointment to this day. Most of the outfits are very revealing, such as the swimsuit with a playful bunny tail, but there are also more modest clothes, such as the yellow jumpsuit. Unfortunately, the physics of some outfits are not the best, and skirts that should flutter and sway in the wind seem to be glued to the main character's private parts. By and large, Stellar Blade is a greatly simplified Souls-like game with very beautiful graphics and a gorgeous main character. Unlike the classic Dark Souls series, experience points are not lost upon death. Falling off a cliff only takes away some health. There is the option to choose an easy difficulty level at any time, and there is even a scanner that highlights chests, collectibles, and indicates the location of the target. On the one hand, this is all great and will help newbies dive into the world of Souls without too much pain. On the other hand, for hardcore battle fans, the game will seem too easy and overly casual. There's no fear or sense of danger from enemies, which kills all the romance of Souls-likes. However, despite minor flaws, the Korean developers have created an excellent game that all fans of Souls-like and action RPGs should definitely check out. The Korean developers have once again pleasantly surprised us, and Stellar Blade can rightfully be called one of the most talked about and successful releases of the year. Shift Up has created an excellent mix of time-tested franchises, and the main character, as the icing on the cake, is sure to impress connoisseurs of female beauty. The insanely dynamic, vivid battles, combined with beautifully crafted mechanics, deserve special praise. Even though the plot isn't exactly groundbreaking, and some moments of self-plagiarism slightly spoil the impression of the game, and the lack of a photo mode is tantamount to a crime against humanity, Stellar Blade is one of the best games published by Sony in recent years. The project from Shift Up deserves 8 out of 10. If you liked my video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. More videos coming soon.
그저